Now, one of the things that we are celebrating and creating awareness on is mental health. And this week it's Mental Health Week. And today we're going to look at how to keep our minds healthy. Now, normally when we define mental health, we think of things as drastic as bipolar or even schizophrenia. But mental health conditions also include anxiety and also depression, because they all fall into this bracket. Now, with us today, clinical psychologist Bradley Drake is joining us this morning to talk about it. Bradley, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I have to ask, when does everyday sadness or a little bit of unhappiness go over to anxiety and depression?
Well, yeah, I mean, sadness and even being anxious is really very normal. The question is the intensity of the emotion,
right,
and the degree to which it prevents you from being able to function as you usually would.
Now, when you talk about function, just to get more clarity on it, what would you normally do when you're unhappy or not feeling that good, so sad, compared to when you're anxious or depressed?
Well, I suppose when you're very anxious and depressed, it's almost difficult to think about anything else other than the way that you feel.
Right. So it's an extreme case.
Right. And as a result, you know, your enthusiasm for things that you'd usually be interested in goes out the window. You become, very concerned with this emotion that you're experiencing. And so there's a variety of behaviors that start to change as a result. I mean, technically, depression is really only something we diagnose after a period of consecutive days of depressed mood for a period of 2 weeks or longer. Whereas sadness and anxiety in its sort of natural form, will come and go throughout the week, and that's normal for people.
Okay. How can anxiety and depression affect one's mental health?
Yeah, well, so as I said, I mean, what happens is it starts to become the key focal point for people because of the intensity of the feeling, how uncomfortable it is for them, and how they then start to sort of second guess their ability to do things, or the enthusiasm, goes out the window. So people start to lose confidence in their ability to function normally. People stop participating in situations, whether it be at work or socially, as a result of the way that they feel. And then they start to become very despondent about that. And so that's really how the vicious cycle kind of continues.
When you pay attention to that, I mean, if you're experiencing all of that, when is the right time to go, I think I need help?
Well, I suppose if it's something that's different, if you haven't had an episode of depression or anxiety in the past and you haven't formally had treatment for it, if it starts to feel like this is longer than what I'm used to, or this is more intense than what I'm used to, or I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, I don't know how this is going to change, and it's been going on for longer than what I would have expected, or I'm not sure how I'm going to get over this bridge, then it's perhaps time to start talking to somebody.
Now, we were talking about depression and anxiety and how people feel when that has it. How can we keep our minds healthy? So what if you're the other way? You're still healthy, you're still fine, you're functioning well, you don't have depression, you don't have anxiety, but how can we keep our minds healthy?
Right, well, I think the first thing is that the brain is an organ in the body just like any other organ. So a healthy body is a healthy brain. And, eating well, getting enough exercise, getting enough sleep, not pushing ourselves too far, staying away from drugs and excessive amounts of alcohol are all the basics that are really good for any organ. And I think the second thing is that, emotions are also normal. So a lot of the time people think good mental health is always feeling happy and feeling fantastic and always feeling like you're on a tropical island. That's not normal. So I think accepting sort of uncomfortable emotions like sadness, different sorts of distress, anxiousness, is also normal. And people that accept their negative emotions actually tend to manage them a lot better.
A lot better. Okay, it's that whole thing of recognition. Wow, interesting. Bradley, thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and giving us some information about that. Now, there's always medications available at your nearest Pick and Pay pharmacy. That's also where you can get some help. And also, if you ever need to feel like you need some help or you want some attention, reach out. You're not alone. South African Depression and Anxiety Group, we call them SADAG. They're available on 011-262-6396. Thank you very much, Bradley. Well, from looking after our mental health to looking after our tummies. The last time I met Justin Bonello, he was cooking in Africa. This time round, he's cooking on our Feel Good Breakfast show.
By supporting the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Centre, that's where we found goodness. Pick and Pay, always there for you.